Hello, everyone. My name is Yawa Edie, and I'm the program coordinator at Africa Center's Enhancing Gender Equity Program. And you are listening to Better Than the Cure Preventing Intimate Partner Violence. This is a podcast series that will feature many guests from different fields and areas of expertise, all with knowledge on how to prevent intimate partner violence from a specific area or specific field here within Alberta, specifically within our African, Black, and Caribbean communities. Today, we have our very special guest, Mrs. Beatrice Ghettuba here, who is a CMA and CPA, and until 2019 was the owner of K2Z Accounting Associates Incorporated. Prior to this, she has had many positions in terms of accounting and also risk management, which is amazing. But today she joins us as a passionate community leader, a woman of faith, and also someone who's acquainted with societal issues in terms of family dynamics, and is also support for many people within the community that have personal matters or issues in terms of family challenges. So it's a pleasure to have you. And I'll have you tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I welcome it wholeheartedly to come and talk about this topic, which is very, very key. And this is a huge topic, and sometimes you don't know where to start from. But I'm delighted that focus is being given to it. I know that in the past we had a stab at it. We influenced things as they were happening, especially the group of us women in the board of the Africa Center. But there's nothing as wonderful and as powerful as an idea whose time has come. And so when I look at where you are at and what you're doing, I say the little to where we're able to do, you're building on it, and even not being aware, because even the community itself has shifted and reorganized itself to make this kind of conversation very pertinent. And so I am very passionate about this topic. It's a topic, sadly, we have to talk about, intimate partner violence, and the fact that it happens behind closed doors and in the dark, and information never surfaces that easily. By the time you come to be aware of it, there's a lot of damage done to the parties involved, but especially to the families at large. So that's where this is difficulty to talk about, but it's time that it's spoken about. And so I spend a lot of time currently, since I retired from my business. I've, in the last 3 years, I've spent quite half the time of the year in Africa, in Kenya, and I had a few projects there, and trying to look around and see how I can support people after being absent for over 25 years. And so it's exciting to come here, and you guys have not forgotten that we were around, and so it's my privilege to be here and share what.
Amazing. So with that being said, we'll kind of jump off the conversation, and it's great that you have an accounting background, because one of the issues that we have identified when it comes to intimate partner violence is a lack of financial security, a lack of financial independence, or economic opportunity. So my question to you, just to start us off, is what role does that lack of financial security or independence play when it comes to intimate partner violence, specifically for women who lack the means to make their own money, to control their own finances, or the education or opportunities to be self-sufficient?
That indeed, it's very critical, because when you live in a country like Canada, in North America, by and large, really money makes the world move. Without it, it actually even defines us. If we're not even careful that it defines us correctly, it can adversely define us. And so if it's that critical, because you do not have a garden of your own like you would have in Africa, where you can go and gather vegetables. For those of us who are old enough, we used to do that. I know the younger people cannot even identify that. So therefore, you're wholly dependent on the party that actually provides that. So if you don't have independence of that, really, you really don't have any independence at all. Because he, like they say in the English proverb, that he who pays the piper calls the tune. And so women caught in a situation of lack of economic means are twice as in trouble, exposed to intimate partner violence than any other. I'm not saying that money just immunizes you from that, but it's a given. Because you need to be self-sufficient, or you're complaining because you're not satisfied, and it can be played down or taken into various directions by your very attempt to say, I am more than what I'm getting. Yeah, so it's critical that they cannot be overly emphasized. Having economic means, tending towards independence, is very critical for women now than ever before.
And how do you think we can increase the accessibility to economic means, whether it's job opportunities or even maybe education? Because at least, if you have an education, you have something to fall back on or to find, a career or employment. How can we increase these opportunities for women that are coming from Africa or the Caribbean or other Black identifying countries?
Okay, so we step back and see that in this economy, it doesn't matter how you arrived in this as a woman, how you got into Canada. Education is critical. Whether you have to start from zero, you have to. Because a failure to be literate and ability to be literate in many other aspects of life, including and especially finance, you really are left behind. So I would emphasize that it's important that as a community we talk a lot about education. Going back to school, even if there are jobs everywhere that you can get with the kind of education you have, we need to raise the bar. People to get to school and say, I am more than this. There are jobs that we do at the moment that, while you may get the money, takes you away from the family unduly, and in itself can bring about issues of family that leads into violence. And so that's very critical. Education. Where people know, I am going to do this, I'm passionate about it, not because it brings money, but I'm passionate about it because it makes the total person who you are more satisfied. So you want to be passionate, pursue it, and make a career out of it. And the community, the family, needs to support this.
Right.
Whatever, at the moment, until that is done, basic financial literacy is very, very important. How do we earn the money? How do we use it? How do we budget? How do we live within our means? Very difficult. Easy said than done,
Yes.
but needs to be done, because we're finding ourselves, probably we'll cover it further down, but I dare mention it, that sometimes failure to be financially literate, we are working too long, and we're just feeding a mammoth that never gets satisfied, and we create problems in our own families.
Yes, especially that you mentioned financial literacy and how it differs, because you're coming from back home where everything is cash. If you don't have the money for something, you cannot buy it.
That's right.
Whereas you come here, everything's all about credit. You need credit to buy everything despite having the cash for it. And when you mention financial literacy or financial maybe disagreements between perhaps a man and a woman and the man who's expected to be the head of the home, how can that lack of financial literacy result in intimate partner violence or create tensions that now give room for intimate partner violence to manifest?
Yep. This financial literacy needs to be both to both partners in a family setting, to be aware what needs to be done. In so doing, we are bringing their goals together. Now, if they are, if they are divergent, so already you start seeing that there's a problem here.
Yes.
We don't wait for a problem to happen in order to deal with it. Right there, somebody can see, back home, I didn't have a job, so I depended on him wholly. Here, I'm working, but we're not coming together as regards the goals for this home. That harmony is very critical, because money, while it makes the world move, it actually destroys families as well. So for them to have an understanding, seek help to do financial literacy, to address financial literacy, is very critical, because then their goals are understood. Personal aspirations. You're not just bringing money and giving it to someone. Or you're not saying, I'll take this, and inordinately assume more responsibility. And when you say, I can't manage this, and then you are coming back, somebody's not listening, because they have already set their ways with the money that they had.
Yes.
They're not taking on anything more. And this is where violence happens majorly, when we're not understanding, when our goals, our spending patterns are not the same. So once we see that there's a problem there from the budgeting aspect of our money, then we will tend to seek help, support by way of counseling. How do we come?
And how can we bring that financial literacy piece to our community members? Because that's not something that, is taught, or it's something you have to learn and make mistakes, which mistakes can be very detrimental when it comes to even credit card loans, mortgages, making money, especially now you have kids in the picture, school fees, packing lunches, and things like that. And you get these benefits from the government that maybe aren't necessarily understood. So how can this financial literacy piece be brought to the community, and we'll see the benefit as it mitigates the issues that you just mentioned?
In fact, you can't believe that is available. But as in Canada, everything is hidden in a computer, in some server of some organization elsewhere. Right now, I can tell you that the Chartered Accountants of Canada actually have a program that I participate in.
Oh, wow.
I am a volunteer, and I go to communities. In fact, I can coach both on a personal basis, diverse topics, but financial literacy is one of them. Guess what? For newcomers, it's available. In fact, I was in the process of drafting a letter so that it can go to every organization to request for that training. And I'm available 6 months. I'm available in Canada, and I can singularly focus on that, go from organization, just put bodies before me, and I will tell them I have a gift of being able to bring things into the very simplest understanding, because sometimes accountants we use
big
jargon
terms.
we don't need those technical terms. I resent them because they mask the real story. But we have a lot of things for businesses, entrepreneurs, for newcomers, for children, school children, kids, how to become a role model for financial matters to your family, and how this happens. So it is available, it is there, and I'm not the only chartered accountant in the community. We can do that, but I'm willing to do that from Sunday to Friday.
Oh, amazing.
And do that.
Amazing. And do you think this is something that our community would because we know formal workshops is something that's sometimes hard to engage people from ABC, African, Black, and Caribbean communities. So what is a way, or do you think just as is, people would subscribe to it and look at it and say, okay, let me sign up for this? Or does it have to be an incentive to kind of draw people out from our community to attend, a workshop or, a seminar such as this?
Money is difficulty. We don't talk about money, especially when there's scarcity of it. And we feel like we've committed some crime, and everybody's seeing our moneylessness, our indebtedness. So it's difficult. But we have to start from far. Just say, every African organization in this city, I believe, ought to have the opportunity to tell our people, get this knowledge.
Yes.
It will help you. Financial literacy. It doesn't prescribe what to do, what something that is so hard to do. When I present it to people, I notice that they are looking down, but they are talking. At the end of it, they are very, very excited. The reviews they give me is like they benefited. You try to tell them, talk back to me, they won't talk. But you can see they have done that. So if we have awareness, we have these seminars, not too many people. We have seminars, and then they take just barely 1 hour. So we can have like 3 in a day. And then after that, in the privacy of everybody, encourage them. If you need any further information, if you need any further help, you can talk to so and so. I can see a time when, as a CA, I can get fellow CAs, and we form like a group that is available to talk to people. Very, 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 very critical for people to feel safe that they can disclose without their affairs being disclosed everywhere.
Back into the community, right?
Yes, and people can choose whom they want to talk to them. So I see that these 3 steps, creating that awareness, because there are programs also for school kids. Let's get to them. Whenever kids meet, let's talk to them about money. Yeah, because that information is there. The amount of material is staggering. Yeah, so we need to talk about it. We need to be aware of it. Some will follow, will not be excited, but others will be, depends on their personality. Let's start talking money so that we don't become slaves in this economy again.
That's amazing, and that's awesome that those resources are available, especially when you mentioned starting with school kids, because I find that sometimes as you grow up, you learn about money as you're using it, which it shouldn't be that way. You should know, how to maneuver and navigate money, before it comes into your hands or comes into your pocket, which is amazing. And now this conversation about financial literacy kind of leads me to another thought wherein, we have gender roles as African, Black, or Caribbean people where maybe, the man is the head of the home and, is expected to be the breadwinner. But now if you financially, empower women, which is what we want, but we know might not always have the best consequences, especially when you're put in a situation where the man believes he should be empowered to make the financial decisions. So is there possibility of conflict where a woman is empowered financially or economically when a man believes that he should have all that power?
And again, that's another conversation we need to have for men as well. I've always dreamt that we needed a group that the former mayor of Edmonton, called Mayor Mandel, he had a group of men that they call men of honor. Men of honor. People who took it upon themselves to protect women. And it was at the city for a long time. I don't know whether it's still there, but it was, she is my sister, my mother, my wife, my daughter, my aunt, my niece. When men see women in that light, when they loudly can say that, can assimilate that, then we know that we have allyship in the men. Now, let the men talk to their fellow men. Our men from home, even here, there are very few of them who will express themselves in a setting where women are. And we have more vocabulary than men. And sometimes we tend to unwittingly outshine them. They don't want that. They have come up with this terminology, emasculate them. It's just mere talking. You'll be seen to do that. So we need to be very, very, very careful. Women, as much as we are looking after the interest of women, matrimony is the desire almost every girl, I would say. So everybody aspires into that. We never prepare them into matrimony. And when they get there, some of these things happen and they experience partner violence. It is the worst form of thing. So we have to be very wise. I personally believe, as bad as men are, and sometimes not as bad as they are, as they are the perpetrators of violence 90% of the time, if not 99. I say that they need to be at the table. So we need them to do their end of the story, so that when they come, a man needs to come home and be okay that let me wash the dishes. No, so, you've been with the kids, let me take them out. Believe you me, my husband and I are headed to 70 years.
Wow.
This is the time that he can actually wash dishes. But still he will say, don't tell people. I'm like, it is good. So they're not wired. They're not wired. That somebody said to me a long time ago that as a man grows and marries, he has a conflict of the woman in the head and the woman on the bed. The woman in the head is his mother.
Yes.
This is what he saw. So even when we come here, we never take the village out of some of our fellows.
Yes.
So it's sympathy. It's actually something of sympathy. How do we get them to see that one person cannot do it alone? And it is the way you demonstrate your love for your wife is by helping in the chores. It's not emasculating you. So that education needs to be both for men and women. Now for women, they need to get this so that they feel empowered. How do we use our empowerment? That also.
Yes.
Women, we know whom we are dealing with. The moment we bare our teeth, as it were, that I am also earning, that kind of conversation shouldn't have to arise, because you know that you are dealing with somebody who is fragile, whom we are trying to teach as a community, starting with you as the partner, that you demonstrate that you love me when you see that I am tired and I can be tired. We don't have moments to sit together. Suppose we looked after things as I am cooking, you are doing this, you are looking after the kids. Then when everything is quiet, we can sit together and talk and share how the day has been. So that the woman says, I am your partner. It's not, still you are the head of the family. Even when I am earning, let's put our spending together. Let's see how we spend. Let's do our budget. Back to the financial literacy. And then, so there's education which is very, very carefully thought out and intelligently, intentionally delivered. Yeah, because we cannot be off tangent. In my time here in this city, I've sat in workshops where I've seen we women incite each other, where we say things, oh, he will not do this to me. Oh, me, I will not accept that.
Yes.
Our circumstances are very different. What we should do is, when this and this happens, there's a time to draw boundaries. There's a time, when should you put your feet down? And when should you just accommodate and make him feel special, feel the man he is? Doesn't take away from who you are. So I am not an expert in this, but I'm old enough to know that this needs to be very carefully handled.
Yes.
Because if you are off this marriage, you are contracting another marriage. And if we have not taught ourselves, all empowered ourselves to be assertive, to create boundaries, and still be okay, and still be respectful. Really, if the man finds that this is all bad, that's when I say, in Kiswahili we say, na aende, then he really shouldn't be with you. Yeah, he really shouldn't be with you if he has this problem, he's unwilling. We have resources of marriage support, counseling, and every kind.
Right.
So we need, in a very concerted effort, to bring this to pass.
That's perfect, and I thank you for that answer. And you kind of went into the next realm of what I'd like to discuss with you, because we've talked about your financial background and your financial piece, which is important, but you're also what some would revere as a community elder, as someone who's experienced things, and when there's family challenges or issues within the home, they turn to you and they look to you for advice and support and ways to navigate that. So my question for you is, how important do you think someone in your role is to the community, and has that role been diminished over the years or still exalted, or you're still seeing people in the community come to you for these issues?
It has actually increased. Previously, I used to put it at the generational phenomena. That we all, at my generation, when we came here to 27 years ago, we were of that generation. We clutched things from home. We sang music from home. We danced to the music that we danced to in our home countries. So we had a lot of protectiveness, and so it was not easy for people to come out and say something about what they're hurting. But now more and more, and even the young generation, people call me and say, I don't like this. Help me with this. And sometimes it gets me to say, did we teach our kids what to do in case of conflict in the family? Or do we say, oh, we have a wedding, or we are doing this, we are all very excited. And both boys and girls, what to do. And last year I experienced a lot of them. There's Auntie B, oh, there's something happened. I have to talk to you. I need it. And then and you sit there and you listen, and your stomach sinks because you ask the question. And for the older parents, my generation, I'd like to look at them and say, did you speak to your kids? What to do when there's conflict? And needless to say, the dominant culture is like, do this, call the police, go away, and things like that.
Right.
And while we older ones were like, oh, when you contract a marriage, you're not married to one person. You're married to him and the clan.
Yes, the whole family. Yeah.
The whole lot of them. So you break with this one, doesn't mean that you are free to actually walk away. By and large, white people can do that. I hope you young people can do that. I hope not. But as we still have that community together, right? That collectiveness, and we get into each other's case. Because back home it was the good thing to do. Yeah, right. But here it can be like, how dare you? But so we have to find that balance. Because
there are still some strengths to it. And my question is, I think that's amazing that people feel comfortable to call you, to talk to you about these issues. And how did you build that relationship with them? How did you build that relationship where if they're facing an issue in their home, in their marriage, in their relationship, they know they can call you, talk to you, get the help that they need, and it's not going to go back into the community?
That's right. I don't know. I could say my personality is I speak openly. I get into a lot of trouble, and sometimes people shun me. I'm okay with that. I always come from this perspective that those who love me a lot. Yes. Those who don't like me. But I found that even some people that I thought that they didn't like me, they'll call me. And they would say, Auntie B, please, I need help. I need to speak with you. Where are you? And they would talk to me very intimately and things like that. So my forthrightness, and they have always known me, especially in the Kenyan community, that I don't gossip. If you come telling me something about someone, as an elder in the community, I'm going to talk to that person why they are doing that to you. So be prepared that what you're telling me is going to go out.
Yes.
Before you come talking to me, know that this is going to happen. So I don't gossip.
Yes.
I don't tell anybody, I'm just telling you. But I also, that is especially when you are, oh, so and so did this. I don't deal with that. I found very early in my adulthood that I couldn't be speaking something, and if somebody talks to me and I say, oh, I didn't say that, I should be able to say, I said that. That's the best I knew.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry with the heart, and I'm ready to change my mind. It was more empowering. So this seeped into the community, and that I'm bold and speak my mind when people, give me a wide path, and then they remember that actually I have a level of independence that they can deal with, which is reassuring.
Yes.
So I've found people whom I would never think they would come to me to talk to me about their personal issues. Yeah. And I don't take it for granted. I keep looking at myself. I myself have known difficulties in the family, so I understand where people are coming from. And even when I came to Canada, I left my husband behind. He joined me later. And so I was careful in the community. People don't see my husband around. I don't go telling them where he is, why he's not here. So I didn't expect that people would see me as material. I didn't fit the happy family kind of slot. And so I lived my life. I stick in the church. And in the community, these are the two places, my place of work and my family. Those are the places that the spaces are occupied. And so, but people came to talk to me, and I would say, why would you talk to me? Why would somebody talk to me about some of these very personal things? And then I started seeing that people trusted me. For whatever they saw in me, they trusted me. In fact, people have trusted me more with their personal family issues than their finances.
Wow.
Yes.
So now if we were to take you and clone you, and we have 10 of you, 10 Beatrices, and we put you into the community, what difference would that make, do you think, where we have, 10 of you that are available, where people, if they're having these issues in their family, with their finances, with whatever it is, and there was more of you available, what difference do you think that would make in the community?
It will make, it really will. First of all, it will provide an outlet, a resource for people to go knowing that they are protected to the level that they want, knowing that their privacy is respected. And we have no axe to grind. We just want, because we are older, we want you to live better than we did.
Yes.
Enjoy some of the things that we may have missed. And I believe that is the way as seniors we should do. That is our passing the baton. If we had everyone on this corner and the people can run there and say, see, you did this. And I do this to my daughters when we talk, and I just say, have you considered what your contribution to it? Are you able to empathize that he's going through a certain situation? So I have this kind of conversation whenever any of my daughters would say, I don't like what happened here. First of all, it's let's take responsibility.
Yes.
What part did we play? Did we even allow them to think that they can get away with it? They can do this and still get away with it. So you've played that part. I like that, because then playing game is not fun. And once you have taken a responsibility for your part, you are able to say, I shouldn't have done this. This would have. Nevertheless, I still expect this. It doesn't diminish you.
Yes.
It makes you bigger. I believe that to walk up to someone and say, we could do better, is bigger of personality than being diminished.
I agree. And now that we're on the topic of 10 of you, let's maybe talk a little bit, just so if people are listening and they're trying to identify members in the community such as yourself that people can trust, what other qualities do you think are necessary for a community leader that can play this role, this pivotal role in maybe being a pillar or a safe haven for people who are experiencing issues, or you can kind of see the warning signs and you want to prevent intimate partner violence? What qualities in a community leader are crucial? We have trust, that as you mentioned, and honesty, but what else do you think is crucial qualities to have?
I think being available, having interest in people. I could say that most mature people have gone through a lot of life experience. On the event that we cannot make that clone 10 of me, we can identify some whom the community knows that they can rise to the occasion. And I know lovely, wonderful women in their 50s and above who can form this group. So all we need to do is just handpick them.
Right.
And just to say, comforting. This crisis is happening in the community. We are mature, we are getting out of the field, as it were. We cannot leave our community disintegrated, not cohesive, not making itself better. To assimilate, all actually thrive in this environment, in this economy, with its own challenges. Never mind the family. Because sometimes it's like the family becomes so focused, it becomes a problem. You think if you can ditch it, you can succeed in other areas. Right? You don't. So you're wholesome. We were created in a certain way. And as I'm a woman of faith, I always fight with certain verses in the Bible. And I just say, Lord, I don't believe this. And then you look at it, but when you allow yourself to interrogate, and honestly, you actually find that they have a role to play, and they are good. And what does it mean when the Bible says women respect your husbands and men love your husband, your wives? So when that is taken by people, we take it in our understanding at the moment and interrogate that kind of expression and share it among ourselves and build skills. Because there are women who are just retired or retiring who could actually be called upon.
Yes.
We need to clone them.
And my last question for you as we wrap up here is the community and the women that we mentioned, the clothes that we mentioned, they have strength in and of themselves, but how can they be more empowered, or who can they work with outside of the community to maybe create programs or implement strategies to prevent intimate partner violence?
Yeah, in bringing them together and getting them to commit that they will be available and that they understand. We would understand the idea that you're not coming with a judgmental spirit. If you do that, then even the privacy goes out through the window. So, I respect that someone like Philomena or Keke, our academia people, and even Sophie. There are people who have dealt in community and have understanding of human behavior. So if we bring this and have a little curriculum developing that this is what we want our young people to know. And equally, after a little while, we identify men, men of honor, who can be available for our men to go to. So it's not too artificial to say that we need skills. We need to develop skills. Certainly, there's no other bitters than me, and there's things that I need to learn as well. So if we have a little curriculum, not intensive, but something to start a conversation, because we are old enough to bring something. Everybody bring your experience,
right,
and bring it, and we will form something that is so formidable to use as a basis to go out and converse with the people and be able to identify and be able to say. My mother used to do that in the village. She had, I think, grade 2 education, if any, and she would go to somebody and say, "We hear that this is happening, but in the village that is accepted.
Yes.
We're in a very sophisticated environment. Don't get into my space.
Yes, don't get into my business, right?"
So we need actually to put something together and get women. I can tell you we can get 10, 20, hoping 2, 3 will fall off, and we say we're available. Don't struggle. Talk to us. I like it when men come to me. Auntie B, my wife did this. My wife said this. It's not only women that come. Men come. So I know that this conversation, this thinking needs to be there now.
Again, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and converse with me today. This has been very informative, and I hope that everyone watching and listening to, you've been able to take some key messages from the conversation today. But in the meantime, that is everything. Thank you so much for listening to Better Than the Cure, Preventing Intimate Partner Violence, and we hope to see you next time. Take care.
Thank you.